He gives you the cash, he so does give you the cash. He will get money from his videos, he will do what he can. My name is StarkyBooty32, and today, everyone, is a very significant day, and a day which is worth commemorating, as it's the 20th anniversary of this devastating day today. I decided to make a video on it, as 20 years is a notable length of time, and a significant time to commemorate the anniversary of something. Today is the 20th anniversary of 9/11, which was the day that the United States saw attacks on the World Trade Center in New York City, and some insane destruction had occurred with the loss of so many innocent lives, and terror and devastation began to follow. Many people all around the world, not just in America, know about this tragic day, and some even witnessed it and saw the terrors that had unfolded and the loss of some of their loved ones who worked at or were inside or near the Twin Towers on that day. It was a completely dark and scary day in American history, and the fear that it carries still lingers on to this day 2 decades later. I'm now going to explain the events which occurred in order on this day and give a basic rundown of what happened. On the 11th of September 2001, 4 commercial US aircrafts which were all flying to California from Boston, Massachusetts, Newark, New Jersey, and Dulce, Virginia were hijacked by some terrorists who were part of Al-Qaeda, and their goal was to crash the planes into some prominent American buildings to destroy them. This whole plan was proposed by the leader of Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, because he thought that the United States and other Western countries were growing Islamophobic, and because of America's involvement with Israel. Many conspiracy theorists think that George Bush was the mastermind behind 9/11, however, and I will just say that's just extremely stupid. There's no way a president would destroy buildings in his own country. He would be written out of office and would be arrested for treason and terrorism, but it was actually Osama bin Laden who was the mastermind behind 9/11, and I mentioned that just to clear up any rumours anyone has about who did it. When the planes were hijacked by the terrorists, the ones that were flown from Boston flew towards New York to target the Twin Towers, and then each of them crashed into the North and South Towers. The one which was flown from Deals flew towards Arlington to target the Pentagon and crashed into the western side of it, and the one which was flown from Newark flew towards DC to target the White House, but failed and crashed into a field in Stony Creek Township, Pennsylvania. The ones which crashed into the Twin Towers caused a massive fire to ignite and a huge plume of smoke to rise from where they crashed. Many people who were near or inside the Twin Towers began to run away as fast as they could and get away from them as fast as they could, but unfortunately not everyone made it out alive. Within 2 hours of the crashes, the North Tower collapsed first and the South Tower collapsed second, leaving a massive chunk of smoke and debris behind. During the collapse, some debris even fell onto the 7 World Trade Center and caused it to collapse hours later as well. The people who had the best chance of survival were either towards the bottom of the tower or just outside of it, but unfortunately most people in the tower were above where the crash had occurred, and the deaths were caused either by suffocating in the smoke, people falling to their deaths, or they died during the building's collapse. 2,996 people died during the attacks in total, and many families had lost their loved ones in this incident who were working at or visiting the Twin Towers, and still mourn them to this day, which just shows how terrifying and devastating these attacks actually were. After the attacks had occurred, the US government then commanded any domestic aircrafts in the US to land immediately, and any international flights which came from Canada and Mexico were redirected back. The US then then found out that Osama bin Laden was responsible for the attacks and then began the war in Afghanistan against the Taliban for working with Al-Qaeda. Eventually, about 10 years later in 2011, during the war in the Middle East, Osama bin Laden was executed, and unfortunately just recently, 20 years later, the Taliban took over in Afghanistan because of Joe Biden's ruthlessness. After the Twin Towers were destroyed, they were never rebuilt, but there were two memorials that were built where each of them used to be, and those memorials are large holes in the ground with water running through them, and on the sides they have the names of all the people who died during the incident. And right by those memorials is also a museum which houses all the information of the events that occurred during 9/11. The 7 World Trade Center was rebuilt, however, and there are many people working there and going there again today. Those are some of the main events that had occurred during 9/11. There are many more events and information I could list, but I don't want this video going on forever. But now, to end off the video, I'm going to say that if anyone watching this has any relatives who were killed during the attacks in 9/11, I'm very sorry for your loss, and I respect the bravery and efforts of your deceased loved ones. I also encourage everyone watching this video to put an F in the comments for everyone who died during 9/11 to pay their respects, and we shall never forget this frightening day which occurred in the US 2 decades ago. Until next time, my name is Starkey Booty 32, and thank you for listening, humanity.